Did Bayern get robbed last night? Welcome to Football Opinion, and this is the Champions League review. Bayern did get robbed against Real Madrid more than 10 years back. Bayern did get robbed against Real Madrid last year, but this time against PSG, I don't think that they got robbed. The referee was poor, let's be honest about that. The referee, Joao Pinheiro was his name, from Portugal. He was poor, but those two decisions, we are going to dissect it in brief, to be honest. So the first one against Nuno Mendes. It was deemed to be a handball to Konrad Laimer before the ball reached Nuno Mendes. So the foul was given, the handball was given against Konrad Laimer, and the free kick was awarded to PSG instead of Bayern. And when Nuno Mendes got to that ball with his hand, it was already deemed to be a dead ball, so Nuno Mendes could not be penalized for that offense, and he could not have been given a second yellow card. If it was a handball, then it should have been a second yellow card and a sending off for Nuno Mendes, and so that decision is out of the way. The second big decision which went against Bayern was the Joao Neves handball. So now let's break it down. First, what happened was Vitinha hooped the ball up the field and it hits Joao Neves' hand. So according to the rule book, this ball was hit by his own teammate and it was hit away from the goal. This is the crucial detail. It was hit away from the goal, and if Joao Neves did not intervene there with his hand, the ball would have gone 30 yards or 40 yards upfield, and it would have provided no significant advantage to PSG in attack or in defense, and any Bayern player was not going to get on the end of that ball within the attacking third of Bayern and score a goal. So this offered no significant advantage in an attacking sense or a defensive sense to PSG, and again it was not deliberate. Joao Neves had no time to react to that ball, so I can't see a possible scenario where Bayern was going to score within the next 4 or 5 seconds had Joao Neves not been there. So this is also out of the way. This was not a handball, even though as a Bayern fan I can understand your frustration. In that moment even I felt that it should have been a handball, but then when the rule book was brought out, when the letter of the law was brought out, I can finally understand why it was not a handball. But why do I say that the referee was poor? I say the referee was poor because the communication was lacking. The referee did not communicate this well. Apparently what the referee said to the Bayern players was that the ball hit Joao Neves on his above his elbow and more towards the shoulder, and that was why he did not give the handball. But that was not the correct reason. That was not the correct reason why it should have not been given a handball. The VAR correctly interpreted it as it was from from his own teammate and to away from the goal. So the VAR got it right, but not for the right reasons, and the referee should have communicated it better. And I hope that he made an honest mistake, and there is nothing foul involved here. So yes, that's about the referee. And another scenario, you will say whether it should have been a handball or not. So let's imagine if the same situation happened and Vitinha's ball hits Joao Neves, but this time imagine that it was a fluffed clearance, not a very good high powered clearance which would have reached 30-40 yards, but a fluffed clearance which would have ended up in the penalty area itself or on the edge of the D and to the feet of a Bayern attacker like Luis Diaz, Olise or Harry Kane. And if they scored, or if they got the ball and tried to score immediately, then what would you do? Then the decision says that it would have been a penalty if it was a fluffed clearance, and it offered a significant advantage to the defensive team. But then again you have to take into consideration the distance and the reaction time. If it still happened within 1 or 2 yards from Vitinha kicking the ball and hitting Joao Neves' hand, then again it is down to interpretation, and the most likely outcome would have been that the referee would have awarded an indirect free kick to Bayern and not a penalty. So this is a very complicated law, and the handball rule has changed multiple times over the last decade. I think it has changed 4 times. So there are lots of interpretations of it, and there is a lot in the gray area which is left to the interpretation, and to the human element takes a major role in this case, and the referee has to be on top of the game to award this. So what my suggestion is that you decide on something and then be consistent with it. Like what we like to see is consistency. Now see, this handball is not given. Okay, we agree with that. But then again, we will see that after 2 weeks or after 2 months, another such incident will happen and the handball will be given. So that's what we don't like. We like to see consistency. Okay, that's all. Okay, now let's talk about the PSG players. The PSG players, the one that impressed me the most is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. He was amazing. He is a perfect combination of flair and power. Like the way he maneuvers the ball, the way he moves, it's incredible to watch. And I am gutted that Liverpool did not sign him when we had the chance to sign him from Napoli. He was one of our main targets to sign him in January last year or the year before that. No, it was last year, yeah. So it was. I am really gutted that Liverpool did not sign him from Napoli. The way he runs, the way he defends, it's just superb. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia is one of the best players in the world right now. He plays for Georgia, and for that he would not get a lot of recognition in international football. But what he is doing at PSG is unreal. He is the best player in a team full of attacking and wizards like Dembele, Desiree Doué, Bradley Barcola. He is coming on top in such a team, so you can imagine how good he is. And one of the stats which impressed me the most was he was the second highest in last night's game in defensive actions. So that speaks volumes about his attitude and his professionalism and his work ethic. He likes to work hard for the team and will do any job that's given to him by the manager. Okay, and I think he should win the Ballon d'Or, but the only thing which will come in his way is that the organizers should know how to spell and pronounce his name. Once they get to it, I think he will win the Ballon d'Or next year. And there's a difference between the last night's game and the first leg. So the major difference being that it wasn't as end to end as the first leg. It was not as dramatic, and apart from PSG being 2 goals up early on in the tie in the second leg, there's another reason why PSG looked more calm, more composed, and more in control of the game than in the first leg. And that reason is Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz is a maestro. He controls the midfield like anything. We see Joao Neves, Vitinha, very good players, very good on the ball, very technical, very good at passing, very good at dribbling, but they can feel a bit too high intensity at times. And Fabian Ruiz brings that calm. He's like that cruise. He's like that cruise controller which helps them calm the storm and just be in control, be in total control. What went wrong with Bayern? I think Bayern's attack was a bit toothless yesterday. There was no cutting edge to their attack, and in the final third, they were not being able to create a lot of chances. Luis Diaz, Michael Olise, Harry Kane. Harry Kane was the better of the three, I guess. Olise was not being very effective in dribbling past 2 or 3 players. He could take on his first man, but as soon as they doubled up on him and they teamed up on him, he was not able to get past them. And Luis Diaz was good at dribbling, but a lot of the times he was pushed outside. He was pushed away from the goal and towards the center, where he found it too crowded. He found the area too crowded with PSG defenders to create any substantial chance. Harry Kane did score a late goal, but by that time it was too late, and only about 30 to 50 seconds were left for Bayern to do anything after that. And obviously the PSG defense was on top. Nuno Mendes, superb again. Those 2 centre backs, Marquinhos and Pacho, they have shown that they can step up to a level which can match Arsenal's defense maybe of Saliba and Gabriel. Last night they were impenetrable. Every ball that was coming to the box, Pacho was there clearing it, Marquinhos was there clearing it. If you get past Nuno Mendes, somehow this centre-back pairing was gobbling it up. They were gobbling up all the balls, hoofing it upfield, creating chances from the back. They were absolutely incredible to watch. So that was about PSG. So one thing that you might ask is, what could have Kompany done better? If I was in his position, there's not a single thing that I can think of which I could have done better in selecting Bayern's team, setting them up. He did as well as anyone could have done on the day. And he's a very good coach. He's an incredible coach, and I am sure that Bayern will stick with him. And if they do, over the next 4 or 5 years, I can see Bayern winning the Champions League at least 2 times, because Bayern's squad, Bayern's first 11 is very well set up, very well oiled, and the type of football that they play is a delight to watch. So as a Bayern, if I was a Bayern manager, I wouldn't have done anything different to what Vincent Kompany has done. Now, one thing that the history books won't reflect is how good this Bayern attacking trio was this season. The trio of Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, and Michael Olise. They have beaten so many records. They have given us so much of entertainment. But in the end, they won't have a European title to show for it. And if you read the books 5 years from now, you will say that they didn't win the Champions League. But that doesn't tell you the whole story. If you watch this season, then you will know how good they were, how I don't have words to say. Cut it. The last but not the least, PSG are on course to win their second Champions League title in 2 consecutive seasons. And guess what? Real Madrid are on course to have 2 consecutive trophyless seasons. And the only thing that moved between the two clubs was Kylian Mbappe, of course. So Mbappe was chasing the Champions League, and for that he went to Real Madrid. And as soon as he does that, PSG is now on the verge of winning 2 Champions League titles, and Real Madrid are ending trophyless. So that must hit his reputation really hard. I'm not saying the 3 incidents rather are related, but you can make your own conclusions. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Football Opinion. Ciao.